President Trump and his White House team this week shifted from what had been primarily a focus on domestic policy to a foreign policy White House. Following last Thursday night's airstrikes in Syria, the president and his top aides followed that up with 6 or 7 days of really tough talk on everything from Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to Russia to North Korea and beyond. There was a search for exactly what is the Trump doctrine, especially on foreign policy, but it appears that doctrine is the president will work with whoever he can to just get victories, and that will also, it appears, apply to his domestic agenda. Not only did the president flip-flop from his campaign promises to be closer with Russia, he's now cozying up with Chinese President Xi, whom he criticized on the campaign trail for a year and a half. The president also this week changed his stance on the Import-Export Bank. He's now willing to revive it instead of shut it down permanently. He also called NATO not obsolete after calling it obsolete as a candidate. And perhaps in one of the biggest surprises of the week, he's now signaling he's open to keeping Janet Yellen as Fed chairman. He had harshly criticized her as a candidate. So there may not be a Trump doctrine, and White House reporters got a glimpse of that in a very telling comment from a senior administration official on Wednesday evening who said these shifts come because the president is simply not doctrinal. That means there is no worldview that is driving the president's stances on any issue. So for the next 4 years and perhaps beyond, we could see a president just vacillate as circumstances change at home and abroad. That could affect everything from health care to the federal budget to tax reform. And speaking of those issues, this week with Congress on recess, there was no tangible evidence that Trump and House Republicans are any closer to a deal on health care. There's no evidence that there's major work going on between White House officials and the Hill on the tax reform package the president is talking about. So as we get in, as the president returns from another weekend in Mar-a-Lago, look next week for any signs of progress on those two issues. I'm John Bennett for Roll Call at the White House.